So, short selling is a topic that has been coming up in the news lately, particularly with all that have been going on with GameStop and how a lot of the hedge funds are getting screwed over short selling GameStop stocks. So, what we are going to talk about in this video is firstly do a bit and explain what short selling is and how it works. Then we are going to have a lot at some advice from the god on why he actually steer clear of all short selling, just does not take part at all. Now the first step in this purpose of short selling is that going to sell the stock. What stock have got any oil, that because what you are actually going to do is you are going to borrow somebody else's stock in order to sell it. Now of course the idea behind borrowing means that at some point in the future we are going to have to give back what we bought. So the idea with short selling is you borrow someone else share you well, then she price hopefully goes down, you are going to be buy them back at a later date for a cheaper price and then return the share of to their owner, and owner of the share does not how many different you bought 100 people share and you give them back 100% share. It's all the same to them, but in this process if the stock price fall, you who have sold an 100 Apple share for a high price and then brought them back for a really low price. So whatever the difference in this pie in the sales price that you profit. So that the basic concept of short selling, that how you make money from the stock price going down. Now the only other basic concept to understand with short selling is that like borrowing anything, usually the actually borrowing is not free to do. You know, if you borrow money from the bank you have to pay interest. Same thing from the time that you borrow the share to the time that you give them back. During that period you will also pay interest. Now as regular old investor, what we try and do is we try and buy undervalued stock, right? That our game, we are trying to buy share when they are at a discount, when they are on sale, when the stock price is below their in free value. Now in reality most stock most of the time are not individual. In fact most of the time most stock trade at a premium to their intrinsic value. So in theory it sounds as thought short selling might be a more viable approach than regular old investing. Here Warren Buffett is speaking to do that point. You see way more stock that are dramatically overvalued in our career, then you will see stock that are dramatically undervalued. I mean they are in their nature of securities markets to occasionally promote various things to the sky, so that the securities will frequently sell for 5 or 10 times what their worth, and they will be very sell themselves for 20 or 10% of what they were worth. So therefore you see those much greater description between price and value you on the our valuation side. So we might think it easier to make money on short selling, and I can say it, so it has been for me. I don't think it's been for Charlie. It is a very tough business. So in reality it's actually a priority thought business to make money. Now there are two main reasons for this, but I am going to let Warren Buffett explain them first, and then after he has explained them I will come back and add to little bit more color. It is a very tough business because of the fact that you face unlimited losses, and because of the fact fact that people are have powerful stock very powerful stock are frequently on some scale between promoter and call, and that why they get there are ones they are, and they also know how to use that very valuation of to bootstrap value into the business, because if you have a stock that's selling at 100 that or then obviously it is to your interest to go to out and issue what a lot of share, and if you do that when you get all thought the value can be 50. In fact, there are a lot of the chain and later tab stock promotion that are sort of based on this inflation assumption that the management will keep doing that, and if they do it one and build up in 50 by issuing a lot of share at 101, it is what 10 now, that now the value is for 50, and the people say well the guy is so good is that the pay 200 for 400 or 300, and then they can do again so on. It's not result that quite that clear in their mind, but that the basic principle undergo a lot of stock promotion, and if you get caught up in one of those that is successful, you can all know how you can run out of money before the promoter run out of idea in this the in there, and almost always work. I mean, I should say that of the third that we have felt like shorting over the year, the betting average is very high in terms of individual. If they should work out very well individual, you have held them thought, but it is very painful, and it is to my explain it all a lot easier to make money on the long side. So the first reason why a lot of people end up not making any money when they are short selling is because with the short selling there is a potential that you can lose an unlimited amount of money. So remember back to the past graphics, remember short selling we are borrowing someone's share, we are selling them at a high price hoping that the share price then goes down, we buy back the share to return them to the owner, and then we profit the different. Well, what if the stock does not go down, what is the goes up? Remember with the short selling up, you always have to buy back the share to close your short position to return the oil share back to their own, but there is no limit on how high the share price of any particular company can use those. If you are short selling, you are opening yourself of the potential unlimited losses. Imagine that you borrow and sell on share of Tesla, you sell it for $100. Unfortunately, thought the stock price then goes up to $100. Well, already you have a $100 in this rate, but then the stock price keeping going up. Let's say if $100, now you are $300 in this rate, but now the stock price it is a 1800 and pretty dollar. If you can your short position open now, you are $750 in this rate. Remember what I was saying just before, the last step of short selling, you always have to buy back the share to close your short position. There are no limit to high share prices can you, and therefore there is always the possibilities of unlimited losses. Now moving on, the other reason why Warren Buffett explained it actually quite hard in really to make money from shorting stock. It because so you have found this stock it cost $10 and you just know it going down like this thing is so expensive. It is on it is on a SAS sky ground. It differently growing down whenever the CEO or like the salesman has actually just decided that because it is so expensive, he going to sell a whole lot of new stock, say 10 million new share that he just getting out of this ad, and he goes to sell there to individual investor that he has somehow convinced that this stock is definitely you have going to keep doing well. We are going to the moon it's now, and as I said, those shares just get it out of there, and the shares get dumped on the shares fairly that grow a little bit, but the company definitely does get all of the fun, all of the profit from that stock sale. Social now investor look at this stock and they go, yes, it was $10 p for, but now they just raised $100 million. They got big plan, they are going to put that money to use, and the business is going to even better. So now we think that the business is what $20, the stock price goes up in the $20, the CEO goes up, great, I am going to use this opportunity to return even more stock at this or treasury's price, convince some more investor to jump on board. Now investor think, oh, it's gone, it is a they in the end event position, and the process just continuously cycling, being short something wise keep going up because somebody is promoting is in at half cooking where you can losing, and they call on you for more margin. It just is not what it have to mass in your life. It's not that hard to make money somewhere else with less irrigation. Now Charlie reason another good friend here in this, if you are the shorting a stock and the stock price is going up, the more the stock price goes up in the more in maintenance margin you are going to have to add into your investing account. Now because with short selling you are playing around the stock that you did not actually when you brought, there is a risk for the broker that look at Brandon and say, guess this stock price just keep going up. I am not actually sure Brandon has the money in his bank account to be able to buy back the share to return. What the bird now to limit their risks, they may force you to add more money into your investing account, into your margin account, that call a margin call. And if you are unable to deposit the fund into that account, then you can force you to cover your short and close your position. So even if you found a stock that you know in going to zero, if it goes from 200 to 400 before it thanks to zero, and you can meet the margin call that you can can be forced to cover your short even thought your basis or was right. You can be forced to take a loss even thought you can write. This is the Warren Buffett stock exactly to the point in this in they are almost always work. I mean I work that of the stick that we have felt like shorting over the years. The rating of averaging is very high in terms of eventual. Yes, they should work out very well eventually if you held then thought, but it is the very painful and it is time to my experience. It is a whole lot easier to make money on the long side to there. You can even when Warren Buffett thinks about short selling, you know most of the time well he got a very high betting averaging or most of the time here, right? Or is more of question of can you maintain your short position and all for long enough for you to actually profit from big kite. And it is exactly what happened out with a lot of hedge fund what higher shorting game stuff. A lot of so game stuff, as you know, it is a physically retailing of video game. It is trying business, it can go to zero eventually whenever the editors on what state bet were able to speak the share price so much what is forced the head fund to close out their short position. They could GameStop in this long run it might go to zero. It is very well go to zero unless they change something domestic about the business model, but the reality is just not when fun because the sharp price pick up so high they unable to stay in the game long enough to see their basis play out and profit from it. And overall all of this reason help make up Warren Buffett mind, and that why is does get involved in short selling. In reality is probability easy to break a loss than pick up a winning, but or with short selling the fact or that there are unlimited losses and the fact that you have to maintain your short position, you might get a margin call. The fact that there are phony salesmen out there that can cares of that can keep the stock price initially high on their businesses just mean that is reality it actually a much better business to make money than what you might expect at the end of the day. Short selling quite simply just a violation one Buffett first rule of investing, which is don't lose money. You don't even want to put yourself in a situation where you could lose up the money. And overall with short selling, the potential what might happen to anyway. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video in so my summary of why Warren Buffett does not look at to be short selling, as well as also with the size of his company Berkshire Hathaway if are even gone move the needle with their short selling. They should just make to put like the oil company at stock and what just something that they should never to do. But anyway, I'd love to hear what you think about your short selling. Personally, I don't totally idea, but maybe you don't be maybe you have had some experience about selling. I had loved to hear from you. If you have was the work or you did not work out, maybe if I've been someone that earn short selling for a very long period of time, let me know. Likes your stat, have you made money over the long run? It has been much more challenging to make money than what you thought. Let me know down in the comment section below. Leave a like in this video if you enjoyed. Check out profitable link down in the description if you are interested in how I go about my investing, either for passive or active investing. But it has for today. Much for watching guys, and I will see you guys next time.